We got Richard from South Shields who's with us on 5. Hiya, Richard.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, mate.
Right, I've got something for you, right?
Okay.
How do we go about, like, getting entertainment sorted out, right? So instead of just going through this mundane week-by-week stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
How do we go about, like, getting something that we're not bored with?
What do you mean, between you and me? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I did now, right? But, Alan, I'm 33, right?
Okay.
And I'm really bored all the time, right?
Okay.
And there's nothing that I can do that interests us anymore, right?
Right.
Now, I'll just get bored really quickly and easily.
What kind of stuff have you done then as hobbies?
As hobbies?
Yeah, have you had a hobby?
Just everything from A to Z. Do you know what I mean?
You've done everything?
Well, you tell me. Well, you asked me a question about something and I know the answer.
Okay,
I'm just bored, you know what I mean?
Bungee jumping, have you bungeed?
Aye.
Have you hang glided?
Yes.
Where from?
Oh, I was up on the Scafell Peak.
Right.
And I was up there and I'd done a bit of stuff with the army, right? Which is like the territorial army.
Right, the army hang gliding team.
Well, without like without the whole thing going right, do you know how you just go down the wire?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
That's not hang gliding, though, is it?
Well, it's the same as hang gliding, but it's not like hang gliding.
No, it's sliding down a rope is what you've done. That's not hang gliding.
No, do you know how you get like the metal wire? It's like a cable, and then you go and you put your things on the top, like the James Bond type, straight down. You know what I mean? Like
I think the answer to the thing about the question about hang gliding is no, you haven't done it. Is the truth, isn't it?
Well, hang gliding, right? I've done this thing on the cable car, right?
Right, that's not hang gliding either, is it?
Well, it's the same thing as hang gliding, right?
No, it isn't.
Hang gliding. I think
if you're on a cable car and you're attached to the earth, it's nothing like hang
that's
gliding.
Boring and all, isn't it?
Well, no, how do you know? You've never done it.
Well, I've done all of the stuff like the same thing. Well, hang gliding's like where you jump off things and that with a hang glider.
That's right. And you soar over the mountains.
Well, the reason why I get bored with that is because I don't want to injure myself into the point in which I could just like either fall out of it, like, or
yeah, but you see, I asked you I asked you if you'd done it, and you said yes. Why did you have to lie there? Because the answer is, well, no, I haven't done it.
I didn't lie, but
yes,
I can't tell you.
I said, have you done it? And you said yes. And then I said, where did you do it? And you had to concoct this made-up thing.
Well, right, hold on a minute, right, Alan? Have you ever done levitation?
No, I haven't levitated.
Well, I have, right?
Okay.
Like David Copperfield got us to do some levitation and that, right?
When was that?
1984.
1984? All right. And where did you levitate to and from, then?
Well, I was just I was in this room, right, with David Copperfield, right?
How did that happen? How did you get in a room with David Copperfield?
Well, basically, right, he tried to, how was I in the room? I was in this, it was like a show. Do you know what I mean? And basically, he sent us round, right? And he got me to do this levitation, right, because I was the only one that he could get to do it. Right, because I was only a kid. I was only 11 at the time. Do you know what I mean? And he started doing this thing, right? And it's like a hypnotic trance that he puts us in, or he put us in at the time, right? And, well, I levitated around the house. But I turned around and I says, well, in dreams, right? Or, like, when you're asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Right, well, it's the same thing as when you fly, right? Do you know
no, it isn't really, is it?
Well, it is.
When you're asleep is the same as flying. Well, it isn't, is it?
Well, hypnotic trance is like when you put somebody to sleep under a hypnotic trance. He never actually made us fly. Do you know what I mean? So I got bored with that straight away as well, right? Because he turned around and he says that he could make us fly. But I says, well, look, put us on the video, right? And
so which house were you in? What town were you in?
It's just an illusion, isn't it?
What town were you in?
Well, it was Newcastle. I'm in South Shields now.
David Copperfield came to the northeast into your house to make you levitate.
No.
Do you really think that anybody's going to go, that really happened?
No. It was at the Theatre Royal.
Right.
Do you know in Newcastle?
I wasn't aware that he'd ever been to the Theatre Royal.
It was,
Okay.
1984 it was.
Right, okay.
So anyway, right, he'd done this thing, and there was a couple of guys there. There was that Uri Geller.
So
right,
hang on, can I just point out another of your lies here?
What? It wasn't a lie?
I was in this house.
What house?
You just said you were in a house with David Copperfield.
Well,
now you're saying it was the Theatre Royal, which isn't a house.
It's like a playhouse, isn't it?
It's a theatre.
I was only 11, I can't remember that far back, right? But
nice try, but you see, every time you go off on one, if you kept your story straight, you might get away with it, but you don't, do you?
No, well, do you know what is, right, Alan? This is real, right? This is the true story, right?
Okay.
1997, right? I was in Newcastle, Theatre Royal, right? And I was doing this thing for a company, right, called Theatre Royal, right? It was a thing called Mailing in the Magic Stone, right? Now, I had to be at The Voice, Mailing in the Magic Stone, right? A long time ago in a faraway land and all that stuff, right? For the kids, right, well, in the Theatre Royal in 1987. And there was a guy called Paul Usher. He was playing Ebenezer at the Theatre Royal. Now, I had to do this rope trick, right, in front of these kids, or like only like 5 or 6, 7, maybe. You know what I mean? In 1997. So I had to make the thing was, this is a story about 3 bears. Mammy bear, daddy bear, and baby bear, right? And I had to make the rope all the same size, right? Well, I was the only one that could do that as well. It was in the Theatre Royal, the same thing, right? Now, there's this ghost in the Theatre Royal. Do you know when you whistle on the stage?
Hang on, Richard. Your lies are coming back to haunt you here. A listener's just checked... with David Copperfield, he's never been to the Northeast. He's never performed here.
He has, right?
No.
Well, it must have been...
Not at the Theatre... Not according to the man who works at the Theatre Royal.
The Theatre Royal?
Yeah.
Well, it might be the Playhouse. But I was only a kid, you know what I mean? I was only 11-year-old.
Yeah, so David Copperfield's not going to play at the biggest venue, he's going to play at one of the smaller ones, is he?
Well, the Playhouse, that's next to a...
500-seater capacity, and he would never play there.
Well, basically, when you do this training, right...
Well, basically, why don't you just tell the truth?
No, well...
Why? Because do you know that the truth is hugely entertaining, as people who've been on earlier can obviously and plainly see, anybody that's listened to the show up to this point, why do you have to come on and tell porkies, and then as soon as you're found out in a porky, you move on to another porky? Why don't you just tell the truth? You say that you've done it all. If you really have done it all, and it all... Because I've probably done about 3% of it. Of all the things that's possible to do on this planet, I've probably done about 3% of it. If you've really done it all, you would have incredible real stories. Why haven't you?
Well, listen, right, Alan, right? And don't freak yourself out, right?
I'm not freaked at all. I'm disappointed.
But you're in the Metro radio station now, right?
That's true.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Now, can you stand up?
Yes.
Right. So just stand up.
No.
Why?
Because you're taking us on another adventure into nowhere, like you usually do.
Well, basically, right.
Yeah, the Theatre Royal have just confirmed David Copperfield has never been performing in Newcastle upon Tyne.
Well, in 1987, right, the Aladdin, there was a thing called Aladdin, right?
Yes.
And there was Felice Arena playing Aladdin. Cannon and Ball playing the 2 cops, right?
And the point of that is,
well, all of this happened, right? Well, I can remember that, but I was only 11 when this happened, right? So it might not have been might not have been there actually. You know what I mean? It might not have been the Theatre Royal. Right. It might have been somewhere else in Newcastle. But
he's never been to Newcastle.
He hasn't not.
He's never been to Newcastle. Yeah.
Has he not?
No.
Well, see, so... Well, how can I remember that then?
Stop, well, how do you remember it?
Well...
In the same way that you make up so much other stuff. If you didn't make it up and you told the truth, people would find you actually interesting. But as it is, they don't. Just tell the truth. And lies are not the same thing to the truth.
Well, the truth is, right, you're frightened about standing up and levitating around that where you are now.
Because I can't do it.
Why not?
Right, because I can't levitate. If I could levitate, I'd stop buying shoes, wouldn't I?
Aye, because you're frightened about it, man.
I'm not remotely frightened about it.
Well, I think you're terrified to levitate. Right? So you've never done that, have you?
Okay, no, I haven't.
So it's just the same thing, so you're boring.
And I think...
And it's bored as well.
I think that you are terrified of telling the truth because people would discover that instead of doing everything like you brag that you have, that you've actually done nothing and you spend your whole life making up sad stories to try and brighten up a life that is empty.
No, I'm not bragging.
Well, I think you'll find that you were if you play this back. Thanks for calling. 01914 488 3188. Oh, hang on. I'm an inch off the ground. No, I'm not. 01914 488 3188. Levitation? Like to, but I think not. Am I frightened of it? I was up on a bungee cord a few days ago. Hang gliding, I have done. Off Causey Arch, the British Championships a few years ago. So levitating, no, it wouldn't freak me. But if you do want to come on to Night Owls, I've always said this. You tell me a fun story, something that's interesting, that has a start and a finish, and a middle, ideally. People across the world will find you entertaining. Some mad people find Richard entertaining. Mind you, there's only one of them. But I get emails from one person when he comes on saying, "Oh, what's he about?" If he is the grand guru to that one person, the world is a peculiar place. But if you tell the truth, truth tends to be 20 times more impressive than fiction.